and I would suggest today he receives his ultimate honor, induction into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in the Builder category. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Shepard. With Hall of Fame inductee in the Builders category, Tom Shepard, I know that we had a conversation before the ceremony. You had a hard time keeping this quiet. I know that there were just a few people that knew about this, and you obviously had...
When the commissioner phoned me in February, it was just so off the wall that... and to keep it inside me, I'm sort of an extrovert and blurt everything out, but I did manage to keep this. But what a tremendous honor. I think I'm being inducted on behalf of all the volunteers that have kept Rider Pride alive in Saskatchewan, and I'd like to share it with all of them. And and what a group to go in with, four of the greats of our league, and it's just such an honor. I can't even put it into words. Being inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame as a player, ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Hamilton, John Bonk. John Bonk, who would have thought that a kid from the east end of the city went to Delta High School that used to rip people off when you sold hot dogs at Civic Stadium would now go into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Has it sunk in yet?
You know what? It has, because I've known about it for a couple of months now, because they've tried to keep it fairly quiet and try to pick a date for this. But the day that Mark Cohan actually called, I was just renewing my Hamilton season tickets by phone, just hung up when Mark had called and told me about it, and I wasn't the same for about 2 or 3 days afterwards. So it was an incredible feeling, wonderful honor, and again, Ted, nobody gets here on their own. If you had about 4 miles of tape, I would talk about all the people that have been so instrumental in my getting to where I am today, both as a player and as a person, and what this league really means to me.
John Bonk, a Hamilton native, being inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Well-deserved. One last chance. This is, of course, on 900CHML.com. They're looking at this in Winnipeg. A shout-out to the people in Winnipeg very quickly.
Well, Winnipeg has a special place in my heart. I'm born and bred and raised in Hamilton, Ontario. It's my home now, but my second home is Winnipeg. We still have many friends and tremendous nucleus, a wonderful community, and I miss them dearly.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Ted.
Going into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in the players category, Michael Pinball Clemons. I wanted to ask, because I, of course, in the 90s, I worked on the Argo radio crew, and those days, you, Mike Kiselak, Doug Flutie, Robert Drummond, Jimmy the Jet, and on and on and on and on. Those were pretty special times, were they not? And I know it means a lot for you to know that your buddy Flutie's going in at the same time you are.
No doubt about it, and I tried to stay away from names today, and that name just jumps out. Paul Mazzotti was a guy who came the year before me and left 1 year before me, and so we almost exactly overlapped, both 12 years. He was there a little earlier, I was there a year later, and when I speak to that, and speaking about Doug and what he means, Doug was kind of the glue there, right? Because there was a strong connection with Paul Mazzotti and Doug as well, when you talk about Doug, is simply the best player I've ever played with in the game of football anywhere. And when we look at that era and the era that Paul and I was able to play, when we look at it, those 2 years, right, were probably the culmination. Paul probably played his best football at that time. I probably played my best, and we think that in large part was due to that man, Doug Flutie, who is just charisma in tennis shoes. Yes.
Just before we let you go, I've attended numerous of these dinners. Better man, big man Willie Burton got up to give his speech a few years ago and just broke down and cried because it hit him when he got to the podium what this is all about. Is the money that Pinball will be able to keep it together when he gives up and gives his speech that night, or are you thinking maybe, whatever happens, happens?
Yeah, you know what, I don't worry about it. You just, for me, I think one of the most important things for me to do is to let fans, not only Argonaut fans, but fans across the country, know what they mean to me. And that's what, for me, that one of the great benefits of being inducted is being able to let fans know how much they mean.
Michael Pinball Clemons, congratulations.
All right, thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
Being inducted in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in the player category, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Pringle. All right. Mike Pringle, congratulations. I'm wondering, first of all, now that you've been here and the announcement has been made and you look around this room and see the busts and get the history, is it kind of now all sinking in just what a deep honor this is for you?
Yeah, at first it didn't sink in, and it still hadn't really sunk in. But as I look out on the room out there and see the bust of all the great players that have come before me, this is a huge honor.
Wanted to ask, your workout off-season program was legendary. During practices, you would always take the ball no matter where you were on the field, and you would run through on your running plays, and you would run to the end zone every time. I'm looking at you now. It's only a couple of years out. You look like you can still play. Are you staying in shape, obviously?
I stay in shape a little bit, not nowhere like I used to. I don't have the time like I used to, but I'm still in a little bit of shape. When the commissioner called and told me that I had been I'm being inducted to Hall of Fame, I thought, well, it hasn't been that long. I still can play.
Wanted to ask one more question now. When you think back to those teams that you played in Baltimore and in Montreal and what have you, and I know that I'm probably putting you on the spot, but when it comes to the best offensive line, that group of people that made magic for you, is there one specific team, one specific year that stands out for you? Was it the 2000-plus season? And again, I know that's probably not a fair question, but is there something that really stands out, one group of guys?
Offensive linemen, and everybody that has played with me knows I love my offensive linemen because they take care of me.